Good morning, class. Welcome to another Monday in our lockdown series of lectures and learning and just everything. I hope you're doing well. Real quick before we get started, I want to remind everyone to get their organisms, their create your own organisms turned in. That was assigned last week. I will give you guys until the end of this week since I don't have very many turned in. Try to get that done. It's not very long, doesn't take very long. Like I said, it took me 20 minutes to throw together my little creation there. Um, so just try and get that done for this week, and then hopefully after Easter we'll be back in the classroom, able to do things in person again. But anyways, without further ado, today is a new lesson, a new subject, a new unit called human health. So we're going to be starting this today very briefly. So it's this idea of how do we stay healthy? How do we stay healthy? Okay, it's going to be a big question. It's going to be really important because it's something that we all need to kind of know, whether or not you think that your thing is going to be science, whether that you think that's going to be something you do in Leaving Cert in the future. No matter what you decide to do, this is going to be really important because it's how you take care of yourself. Okay, so human health, how do we stay healthy? Real quick, pay special attention to the words written in red. I spelled red wrong. R-E-D, red. Either take down or do the action asked. Okay, and I'll tell you whether it's to take it down or you have to actually do it and answer some questions. Okay, so our learning objectives. Number one, explore environmental and inherited factors. We're going to learn all about what those two terms are, environmental and inherited. Um, we're going to evaluate how food affects our own health. So how does what we eat affect how healthy we are, how we feel, maybe why do we feel so crap after eating a chipper versus why maybe when we eat something a little nicer like some fruit or veg, why does that make us feel good? Um, We'll explore that. Understand the different types of food. So we've probably heard the terms carbohydrates and proteins and fats and all that, but we're going to try and understand them a bit better. And then explore how our lifestyle choices affect our health. That's something near the end of this unit. That's probably more when we'll be back in person. We'll explore that, maybe how what we do and what we choose to do, how does that affect our health? Okay? Okay. So, this idea of inherited versus environment. What do these two terms mean? But what does it mean if you inherit something? So you've probably seen on either a TV show or maybe you yourself have inherited something. Sadly, maybe your grandparents passed away or somebody they've given you something, right? You've inherited something. Sometimes that means that you received it, right? It's been passed down. You received something from maybe your parents. Maybe you've inherited money from your parents or your grandparents. So they pass it down, right? Um, the same thing kind of goes with your genes or the way your body works. For example, people who maybe have something called lactose intolerance, they can't have milk or dairy. That is something that they received from their parents when they were born. It has to do with your genes and your genetics. Maybe you've heard of the term DNA. It's in your DNA. Your body, no matter what you do, you have no control over this. It doesn't like lactose, which is in a lot of dairy products. Same with metabolism. You've inherited how fast metabolism means how fast you break down your food. And same thing with like eye color, hair color. I had no choice over my brown hair, right? I had no choice over that. That was inherited from my parents' genes, okay? Nothing I can do. Now I can change it. I could go off and dye it, but that's not inherited. That's not my natural hair color. That's me going out into the environment, which is what we're going to talk about next. What does it mean if something is in the environment? Well, it means it comes from outside of you. So if I go out and I change my hair color, I make that choice, that's no longer inherited, right? That's me going out into the environment outside of me and choosing to dye my hair, okay? Other choices that you can make, something about maybe where you live, people you interact with, and also the type of food that you eat. We all have a choice on what kind of foods that we eat. Okay? So inherited, something you may not be able to choose, something that comes from your parents, something that's genetic, which means it's in your DNA, it's in the way that you're built. Yeah? So your hair color, skin color, eye color, how your body breaks down food, like lactose intolerance, or maybe somebody has um, uh, they have intolerances to other types of food, um, stuff like that. Okay, versus environment, that is choices that you can make for yourself. Okay, so inherited versus environment. There you go. So environmental factors, that's what we're going to break down first, are environmental factors. So what you have here in red, the first two bullets you can take down. So take down environmental factors affect our health without being inherited. And there are two kinds, nutrition and lifestyle choices. Uh, what I want you guys to do is, so take these first two bullet points down. Environmental factors affect our health without and the second one, two kinds, and then this second dark bullet point here, the third one down. What are some factors here that affect you? Fill in the chart below with at least three. Sorry. So fill in this chart here with three, what you think three environmental factors might be. I've already given you three in the previous slide here. So try and think of something else. So it says it means, where you live. That's an environmental factor. That's something that's outside of you, but it's something you might control. Maybe you don't control it now, but in the future you might be able to. You can choose in the future where you live. I chose to live in Ireland, so that affects me, right? People you interact with, you can choose your friends, and the food that you eat. You might not have much control over this now, but in the future you might. Somebody does have control over that. Like somebody's making choices on the food that you eat and where you live and the people that you interact with. That's not inherited. That doesn't just kind of come to you, right? So what I want you to do is fill in this chart down here with maybe three different factors of things that you control, choices that you might make that affect you. Pause the video if you need to, but I'm going to move on. So, like I said, try and fill in that chart with three different examples. Here's what I came up with. I pulled it straight from the book. So just some examples. Where you live, like I said, the air that you breathe. So you might not choose that, but it's outside of your inherited factors. It's from the environment, the air that you breathe. Like I said, the food that you eat, water you drink, the amount of alcohol someone intakes or drugs that they intake, that changes them, right? It affects them. People you interact with, radiation exposed to. So that's in the environment. It's not something in your body. It's reacting to something outside of you. Whether they smoke or not, the amount of physical activity that they do, and relaxation. That actually affects your mental health, which can affect your body as well. I know people, if they get really stressed out, they might get a stomach ache, right? That affects them. It changes their body. Just the way radiation, it's not something your body's doing to itself, something on the outside's doing it. Radiation, if you're exposed to too many X-rays, which is the way that people can see inside their body. Normally they're fine, but they will limit the amount you get over the amount of a year because too many of them can hurt you. And that's outside of your body, okay? And like I said over here, so friends, obviously, the kinds of friends you have can affect you. The kind of food you eat, that's what these pictures here are, okay? So make sure you have these two bullet points taken down, and you have at least three. If you couldn't think of any, take down at least three environmental factors here. Okay. We are mainly going to focus on nutrition right now. Okay. So this idea of nutrition, what does the word diet mean to you? So does it mean losing weight? Does it mean eating protein to build muscle? The idea of a diet in science, and this is something I want you guys to take down, is what we eat on a daily basis. What does your diet consist of? Do you eat on a daily basis a roll with a side of crisps and a Coke? Is that what you're eating on a daily basis? And if so, do you really think that's the best choice? So these are environmental factors that they're kind of choices that you're making on the outside that affect you. So we're going to focus on the food that you eat and the water that you drink. Yeah? Because if you don't drink enough water, that's going to affect you. Or if you do drink a lot of water, that's going to positively affect you. So Make sure you have that taken down. Diet in science is what we eat on a daily basis. What does your diet consist of? So I'm not going to show this now, but what I want you guys to do is I'm going to upload this PowerPoint. Make sure you go through it and watch this video. It's about 3.5 minutes long, and answer these questions in your copy. What happens to the body without food after 72 hours? You can also give me what you think happens, and what does happen after food without 1 to 2 weeks. And then how many, it does tell you in the video, how many people are starving on Earth right now. It's just a crazy number. So give that a watch, put those answers in your copy, and then continue on with this slide. Nope. So what does a balanced diet look like? Answer that question maybe before you move on in your copy. But what it means is to have the correct amount of protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, vitamins, and water. Now, I don't say equal, I say correct, because you're supposed to have all of these in different amounts, right? And that's the whole idea of the food pyramid. You're not supposed to have a lot of fat, but you are supposed to maybe have more carbohydrates and vitamins and water. But the amount can depend on your age, gender, and level of activity. People who specifically maybe who level of activity, somebody who runs a lot might need more carbohydrates, which is like pasta and breads and things like that, anything that was made from grain kind of, than someone who does not, because those people who are running and need more energy, and carbs are a really good way to get quick energy. So what I want you guys to do, again, similar to the last one, take a look at these good eating tips here. So we have a variety of foods, careful with portion sizes, lots of different fruit and veg. These are just good things to do when it comes to eating and choosing the foods that you eat, because remember, this is a choice. Take down 3, just 3 for today, and try and get those done today. So what I want you to do, so for example, I'm going to try and do today, I'm going to try and have lots of different fruits and veg. I'm going to try and avoid, and I normally do a pretty good job of this, avoid frying food. So I'm going to try and grill, bake, or steam my dinner tonight. And instead of maybe having cheese, I might have a thing of yogurt. Yeah? Or just drinking lots of water. You know what? No, I'm actually going to take that one. That one's pretty good. It's always a good one to choose because it's so easy. Just instead of choosing Coke, you have a glass of water. Okay? Normally, the avoiding of fizzy drinks is probably the best. So, try to choose 3 that you normally don't do, because maybe you might not have control over some of this. You know, you're not going to choose store and prepare food safely because it's really not your choice, probably. And choosing lean meat, you're probably going to have to eat whatever your parents give you, right? But you might be able to, you can choose how much water you drink. You can try and eat a bit more veg at dinner. And you can try and maybe limit the amount of food that you eat at that dinner, yeah? Just give it a shot. Take down at least 3, at least in your copies, okay? Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today. What I want you guys to do, like I said, take careful note of what is in the red in that PowerPoint, throw it into your copies, answer it, and then shoot me a picture of that on the Google Classroom. And then on Wednesday, I want you guys to do your absolute best to try and come to the live class on Wednesday, because it's our last one before we come, hopefully, we're back in person on Monday after Easter break. And then Easter breaks next week. I will see you guys then on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you.